So, we recently watched something that we were both anticipating to some degree or another. I mean, I'm assuming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jesus. Okay.
I know what's coming as well. You're a hater-ass bitch.
What am I talking about?
Troxie.
Troxie?
Yep, I felt your hate beaming off of you the whole time.
Troxie?
Let's just say the whole time we were watching, all I heard on the side was... Oh.
That's you,
man. I was like, what the hell, man?
Never make those sounds.
Annoying.
That's literally the sounds you make.
Literally didn't make one sound the entire time.
Yeah, that's right. It was deafening silence, you might say.
I mean, that's how I see movies.
That's how this movie should be seen.
No.
Don't agree to movies being seen in silence?
No. I mean, that's how I see movies.
So why do you see them that way?
I do. But apparently you don't, because all I heard was... I was like, God damn,
what am I, freaking Velociraptor now?
Apparently, dude, I was like, what is up with this guy? Was he huffing and puffing? I was getting the same energy that when we saw TMNT, and that's why I thought you hated it.
Yeah, you were horribly wrong. TMNT, I always love.
What was that, by the way? How do you explain that?
I watch my movies in silence and respect, no matter what what it is.
But yeah, but my...
Case in point, yesterday I watched R.L. Stein's Pumpkinhead.
Hold on.
And I gave it its due, and it still sucked.
Hold on. My freaking argument was that you weren't in silence. You were literally huffing.
I was not making sounds.
Huffing and puffing the entire time. There's literally chat logs of me going like, what the hell is up with this guy literally huffing the whole time?
Wasn't huffing guy.
Literally huffing guy.
Huffing guy?
Yes.
Zero huffs.
It's like, what is that?
I feel like you were just listening to yourself for the first time ever.
I was like, it's annoying.
Zero huffs guy.
Literally huffing. And then there was a part where you totally just fell asleep.
Nope.
That was classic. That was classic.
Did not fall asleep. I was like,
oh man, this guy stinks.
I feel like you were watching me instead of the movie then.
I mean, it's hard to not hear literal freaking snoring, dude.
Well, yeah, I'm just making a point here that you didn't watch me because none of that happened.
Literally happened.
Did not fall asleep. Did not huff for damn sure.
Huffed.
Didn't huff. Anyway, we're getting off track here for 10 years. Point is, we watched the Toxic Avenger. What do we call this? Remake?
Hold on. I watched Toxic Avenger.
I watched it 3 times, by the way.
You huffed and slept through half of it.
Did not. But anyway, the point is, his fictions aside.
Well, I mean, facts.
Super fictions, guy. We watched the Toxic Avenger, which is a movie that I guess to some degree or another we were anticipating, not just because we're fans of Toxic Avenger, the original movie, and well, I would say series, but part 2 and 3 are fucking butt. We love Toxie. That's what we're getting at. We love Troma. Big Tromites. Agreed?
Yeah.
I feel like you disagreed, man. So anyway, we watched this thing, and I hated it.
Man, I know you're a hater-ass bitch.
Hated it.
You've been on a hater arc.
Now I rewatched it because I was like, maybe, I don't know, maybe I wasn't in the mood at the time. Rewatched it and I was like, man, this is truly awful. Even give it a third shot, and I gotta say my opinion has not changed. I'm not saying I hate it as a whole. I hate it as a movie, which I guess would be the whole. But yeah, just kind of like, it's kind of shocking to me because, you know, it seems to be a labor of love. I like the director's other stuff. And yet, it seems to completely miss the spirit of Troma in my eyes, mind you. It does come off a lot like the Toxie Troma movies that I don't like, which is part 2 and 3, which they're long-winded, bloated, uninteresting, filled with a bunch of characters that are just kind of meandering subplots.
Super quick movie, guy.
And just horrendously unfunny. I'm talking like dreadfully unfunny. And it leaned more into like the cartoonish nature of things. And I just don't, I mean, other than maybe there have been a couple of scenes here that may have caused somebody to go, this needs to not be rated or it needs to be NC-17. I don't even see why, other than trying to get butts and seats, they would tack an unrated on there. I mean, there's really nothing about it. There's nothing about this that smacks of Troma to me. And then there's a few scenes towards the end where you're like, they're touching on that, but it just feels so forced. It's also a very ugly looking movie, and now you might say,
disagree on that one.
Now you might say, I mean, Troma movies are ugly. Yeah, but they look cinematic to some degree. They look filmic to some degree. This looks so synthetic.
I disagree on that too. I mean, Troma looks like shit.
Yeah, I know, but they look like they were shot on film. They look like there was some sort of effort to make a movie. This one, look, it's just synthetic thing after synthetic thing. It's just it was so bad. But I mean, like, the biggest offense to me is how brutally unfunny it was. It was just so try hard, and it failed miserably to me to be funny, man. And there was just like obnoxious characters, and not in the Troma way, but just like the bum guy. I was like, oof. Now there's good stuff that I liked. Like, I think Peter Dinklage. I think the whole cast obviously is very capable. But like Kevin Bacon's character sucks. I love Kevin Bacon, but his character's awful. I liked Elijah Wood's character. That was like my favorite character in the movie. But he's also like kind of like the least Troma character, other than he's ugly, I guess. But I liked his character. Dink is cool. I mean, Dink's a cool actor. But he's just like super uninteresting. Now there's, again, like, the approximation to Troma is there. Like, you know, there's a message behind it. Obviously, you know, your misfit hero, your attempts at being kind of like irreverent and stuff like that. It's all there. I just don't think they ever reach what they're intending for. It all just seems so performative and like stagey and like unimpressive at the end. I was just like blown away by my reaction. I was like, what the hell? So that's why I rewatched it again, because I was like, maybe I was expecting too much.
You were also asleep the first time.
I was not. But anyway, the point is, I was not. But anyway, the point is, upon rewatch, yeah, I was just like, no, same exact reaction. So this is a thing. But I give it a third one, and
Were you awake for that one? Because
I was awake for all of them.
I don't think you were for the first one.
Well, I mean, I feel like you're wrong on that. But anyway, the point is, that was my takeaway. Go ahead with yours.
I literally snored the whole time, guy.
That's super not snoring.
Super snored. Loved it.
Go ahead. Well,
I loved it.
Elaborate, guy.
Loved it. As a Toxie remake, it's not great. As a Return of the Swamp Thing remake, it's one of the best remakes of all time.
That's an apt comparison. It's like that level of bad. Yeah.
There you go. That's my thoughts.
It is very Return of the Swamp Thing.
Yeah, it is literally the plot of Return of the Swamp Thing.
Yep.
And I loved it for that.
Hated it for that. In terms of Troma-like irreverence, there's none of it. There's nothing in here that resembles it. Except for, again, there's a few scenes towards the end when I guess Toxie finally kicks into high gear in terms of, you know, getting back at the bad guys, I guess. Where they throw out these little salvos that are like vaguely Troma-esque. But, yeah. It's literally like dropping a penny into a pond. You're like, okay, well, that was a thing in the midst. There's, I do appreciate certain things. Like, they did, I guess, go out of the way to be very different. That's admirable, you know. God knows we have enough remakes or attempts at remakes where they just do a photocopy version, for better or for worse. You know, there's good ones and there's bad ones. So I do appreciate that they tried different approaches to things. I just think none of them really hit. Easily one of the most disappointing views in recent memory. I was like, whoa, this is weird.
To be fair, this comes from the guy who loves literal trash as of late, guy. Freaking sucking off. What's that stupid turd pimp doll? What's his name?
That's that movie?
That movie?
Right there?
No.
Blood Dolls? That is much more of a Troma movie than this movie.
I disagree with that.
You haven't even seen it.
Yeah,
so there's that. But that's much more of a Troma movie, and it's not a Troma movie, than this is a Troma movie. You know? And again, had they leaned into, like, back in the 90s, like, Danny DeVito had tried to option the rights to... I know he wouldn't have made a Troma version of this, but he would have made something different. And, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it would have been good or bad, but, you know, the aim would have been different using the similar, like, outline of what Toxie is. We get that here. Something different with a similar outline that on occasion harkens back or attempts to harken back to what Troma is. But here, we know that Danny DeVito wouldn't have wanted to make a outright Troma movie. Whereas Macon Blair did want to do something like that. You know, that's what's mind-boggling to me. That, like, he wanted to do that. and it's not that. And on its own, it's not good.
Well, it's very clear he was inspired by the cartoon. The whole show or the whole movie is like very.
That's why I say
very much the cartoon.
That's why I say
the plot of the cartoon and then Return of the Swamp Thing mixed together. And I get if you don't like that, but it's as its own thing. It's really fun.
That's why I say it reminds me of Part 2 and 3, because that's what they were attempting in those movies to appeal more to that cartoon style audience, or that cartoon style approach to soften the image and give the, again, going to your comparison to Return of the Swamp Thing and stuff like that, leaning more on that, which it's that, to me, that's not Toxie, you know what I'm saying? So you could have called it anything else, really, which is why I highly dislike Part 2 and 3. Now I know there's a new edit of it, I haven't seen that, maybe that's good, but
yeah, I don't think we're gonna get that, honestly.
I don't think so.
They seem to just be doing the tour thing for that.
It'd be nice if we did, or at least get to see it. But I don't know, man. I think maybe Part 2 and 3 are just beyond salvaging, given that they're actually reducing the amount of footage that's on screen and all that jazz, because they have to. I mean, Part 2 and 3 are nonsense. Now, it's not to that level of fucking incompetence. Don't get me wrong. But, it was just found it so dull, man. Yeah, it was weird. It was a weird experience. I'll give it that. It was a weird experience to sit there and go, oh no.
Hater arc.
What the hell?
Hater arc?
No, I mean, that's just...
No, I think you're in this hater. I'll tell you what.
I'm relieved that I don't have to buy it, I guess.
I'll tell you what. I've been in a freaking shit month this month. And that was one of the few bright spots in this month. Was watching that movie and actually enjoying it. Now, quickly, I was like, okay, this is not Toxic Avenger 1 or even 4. I was like, alright, cool. This is going to be its own thing. And actually, I kind of liked that it didn't do that. Try to, emulate that style. Because, I mean, it's really hard. We've seen it. People trying to freaking copy Troma just doesn't work. Look at freaking the later Full Moon movies. Like Ginger Dead Man 2, where it was just trying to be Troma. It was dog shit. Now, I do agree that the early comedy just wasn't landing for me. But then as it went along, I kind of got into the groove. I was like, all right, I wouldn't say I was laughing out loud. Like our boy Joey apparently was laughing out loud. Or homie Joey.
I feel like,
but
I gotta punch them now.
No, homie,
laughing out loud. Like even though I enjoyed this, I won't be. Come on, man.
Apparently, him or them and their friend were laughing out loud, guy.
Punch them.
That's the thing. It's like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like it's like it's its own thing. You know what I mean? And I just happen to like that kind of mix of more cartoonish that they went with. I like how it looks. I like the weird editing that it has, the movie has, and some of it looks cheap, but like it's freaking Troma. Like you can't really.
That's let me just point out, and again, this is my point of view. I obviously liking Troma, liking Full Moon and stuff like that. I don't mind cheap. I don't mind garbage level stuff. I don't mind it sometimes, or in those cases, those companies, sometimes that's why it's fun. You know what I'm saying? In terms of the look, what I don't like is that it looks cheap, but clearly time and money was spent on it. So it's a stylistic choice instead of it just being the nature of the beast. And it just kind of feels like a slap in the face when you're trying to enjoy a movie and it's purposely looking that way. So it didn't add anything for me. You know what I mean? And then I could have been like, whatever. Again, had I had been having fun with the movie, but I wasn't, which is why I was like, well, I don't even dig the style, or can forgive it. I should
personally, I don't think anything looked offensively cheap. It was just some stuff looked a little cheaper than other things. I personally, I like the gore. Like obviously some of it is CG enhanced, but most of it was from Tippett Studios, so it has a look. I wouldn't say it's a realistic look at all. It was more cartoony. There was only one that I thought looked like dog shit, and it was when the brain was kind of going off. Like that, I didn't like that, but like I don't know. It's just like a style they went with, and it just kind of clicked with me. You know what I mean?
Here's what I find,
because it very much is like a style they went with.
Yeah, which is why I say, to me, I was like, this is a choice I just didn't vibe with it, I guess. But anyway, the point is that, on that note, like when I was talking to it with Joey, I was like, we know that people can purposely aim to make a Troma-like movie and succeed. A case in point.
I gotta go back to my hater mode.
Oh yeah, hater mode activated. We know that it can be done to replicate a Troma style. So we have like Kostansky and Nastron 6 doing Psycho Gorman. It's very Troma-like. It leans into that. So it can be done. And be done reverently and achieve humor. And again, all this stuff is subjective, But I'm just speaking
that's one where I personally didn't find it funny. I enjoyed the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't really find it funny. But again, that's like, humor is very...
It's all subjective. I'm just saying...
It's just like kind of cool to see for me. Because the effects were so cool, you know what I mean?
I'm just saying that vibed more...
The spirit.
The spirit of Troma was actively in play there. Whether you like it or not, you can see that. What boggles my mind is that obviously making Blair's a fan, of Troma, and then it just felt like so synthetic. Like it felt like what it originally was, quote unquote was, which is a studio produced Troma movie. That's what it felt like, which I thought was not what it was gonna feel like because he had to kind of fight to get his vision across. But ultimately, that's what it feels like to me. Well, and to me, that's not Troma. To me, that's not the spirit of Troma. So I was like, that's the mind-boggling part to me.
I think what they went with and what they achieved was taking the idea of Toxie and the idea of a Troma movie and just kind of streamlining it into something that's not a lot of like waffling around and being dumb. You know what I mean? Like it's just kind of streamlined into a story that goes somewhere. Like it doesn't stop ever. I wouldn't say the story's good, mind you. It's just kind of like cuts out all the freaking fluff. You know what I mean? Which, granted, we like the fluff. Maybe that's why I wasn't clicking with you of a Troma movie, because the Troma movie fluff is basically all the stupid shit.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's like take the skeleton, take what you liked from the cartoon. Take Return of the Swamp Thing, and have that entire ending at the end. And it just kind of like is a weird mixture of things. Now, granted, if you don't like Return of the Swamp Thing, which you don't, I don't know, dude. There's just like I get it, because it's like I said, it's not a good Toxie movie, and I even told Joey this. It's not a good Toxie movie, but it is an amazing Return of the Swamp Thing remake. Especially at the end, you get the mutant fight. The build-up is the exact same. And I just happen to really like Return of the Swamp Thing. I'll give you a quick fire of all my pros.
Right.
The costume is better than the first one. Has that hilarious moment when Born in the Bayou starts playing. Made me laugh out loud. And that's about it. The cons are the rest of these fingers. So, since it had 2 pros, I'll give it a 2. Also, that poster's pretty great. But this movie's a piece of shit. So it just kind of was like, oh, okay, I get instead of what I wanted, this Toxie movie, I get what I never thought I would ever want. This is a Swamp Thing remake with money put behind it, and a Toxie window dressing to it, I guess.
You mentioned something earlier, how like a Troma movie, all the weird kind of meandering stuff is the fun stuff, and you're right. It's weird how much. And
so much of it doesn't work.
Yeah, how much
for a lot of people. It's the majority that the minority that likes that.
Yeah, if you're a Troma fan, you're into that stuff. And even like I said, part 2 and 3 has a lot of that stuff, and it fucking sucks. But that's because they were actively trying to do something that's not Troma and still be Troma, which doesn't work. And they proved it with 2 of those movies right there. But this movie, in my opinion, does waffling around for so long. It really only kicks into gear towards the 3rd act. A little bit before, but towards the 3rd act. And here, when you said that kind of clicked in my head. The waffling is not fun. The subplots are not fun. The sub-character, this chick that's with him, she didn't even click to me until the ass end. I was like, okay, I can see why they hired this person. It's just that the character does her no service. She really feels useless for the most part. The kid never clicked with me. Not that I hated him, although I did hate that kid and R.L. Stein's Pumpkinhead. He got what was coming to him. God damn it, he sucked.
Why are you watching R.L. Stein's Pumpkinhead?
Because unlike Al, or The Guardian, I will give anything a chance and its proper due. But the point is,
sometimes you just know something sucks, and it's R.L. Stein's Pumpkinhead. I wouldn't say it completely fails because it does hit those little things, you know. It just does it in its own way. Like I mentioned, and apparently this was the intention. I mentioned to my friend Camel that it does like Troma moves, you know, like at the end. You usually get the post-credit big scene that sets up something, and this is just him making a freaking grilled cheese.
Yeah, it's a subversive post-credit sequence. But I told Joey this to counter your point. It didn't earn being subversive because the whole movie was an antithesis of what Troma is. Again, in my eyes. So I was like, it didn't earn this. You should have just gone for the balls at this point. Because that's what your movie did. It did uninteresting stuff for like 2/3 of it, and then again, not to the fault of the crew or anything, but and then at the end it kind of was like, well, send them home with something, right? Which some movies can pull off. God knows we've seen a number of them where you're like, okay, this coheres at the end, you know, but you kind of can't do that with a Toxie movie. You have to kind of have the madness peppered throughout and work kind of evenly in regards to madness, and this one depends too much on its ending, so it does send you home in a big way that's kind of like fun, right? I agree with that, or I'll admit that, but I don't even think it earned that subversive take, though it would have been fun to see if it had clicked on but I know it clicked for you. I'm just saying for me. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, I just think that it doesn't take the actual structure of a Troma movie. It just kind of does Troma moves. Like, we can agree that casting a goddamn midget as Toxie is a Troma move. You know what I mean? Like, so instead of just like I said, instead of just copying a Troma movie, it does its own thing, has its own style, and just kind of has these little moves that it does, and ultimately is, like I said, a freaking higher budget Return of the Swamp Thing, which I like. But this movie's a piece of shit. Like, I want that movie, Return of the Swamp Thing. Don't get me wrong, I agree with some stuff. Like, some stuff just is not funny. Like, I hated Lloyd's cameo. That was lame. But I don't know, dude. I just did like the movie. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I don't know. I'll give it a freaking, for me, it's a freaking 9, guy.
A 9, guy?
Yep, loved it.
I'm gonna give it a
0.
I'm gonna give it a 1 out of 10, guy. Well, hold on. Let me this may change. Hold on.
Wait, is this your villain arc, guy?
No, I just fucking disappointed that I didn't like
villain?
it, man. Super unvillainous.
I think it's villain.
If anything, I'm neutral because
I think you're freaking. I did like Elijah. I kind of wanted more of him. Thankfully, he didn't die.
Elijah's character I liked quite a bit. Again, the cast is very capable. It's just what they're given sucks. The brief moments where there's kind of like the light, touches of Troma. Sometimes they work, but most of the time they just feel like, again, try hard. Don't like the visual look of it at all. Do appreciate that they attempted something different. Just don't think they made it good. I'll give it a reluctant 2. And a lot of that, why it's below, like a mid 5, is because Troma is special to me, and I wanted this to be really good.
Was this you, guy?
And that it's this shockingly un-Troma-like, or just on its own, not very enjoyable to me, knocks it down further than like a mid 5, which would be, I guess a little more fair, because there's obviously worse movies. It's just that again, like, what the fuck to me. So that's why I'll give it that too.
Hater arc.
I'm sad, guy.
Loved it.
Sad that I had to.
I downloaded it right away, guy.
I deleted it from my downloads after watching it 2 more times, trying to love it, guy.
You gotta admit you were asleep that first time. I heard you snoring, guy.
You swore that I hated fucking TNT.
I was getting the same energy, guy.
Well, I just watch movies with stoic hate in my face, I guess, because I just watch.
Well, I
movies.
wasn't looking at your face. Who looks at
Whatever.
that?
Well, but you have to look at it to friggin' see me sleep, apparently. Exactly. Well, the point is, I was not sleeping. However, I apparently may have looked to you.
To be fair, you have like the weirdest poses while watching. Like you have this weird neck breaking pose. Yeah, it's like, god damn, dude.
I want to be comfortable.
It
while
hurts
watching a
to
movie,
look.
Man. Yeah. Also, by the way, I have Clint Eastwoodian levels of squint, just normally.
Well, we both do.
Well, I'm just saying.
I think I got more squint than you do.
Then I'm in the dark and slumping like a madman. Not my fault. You thought I was asleep. The point is, I wasn't. In fact, I wish I was, because maybe I could have deluded myself into thinking that I had seen something that I loved, which I didn't.
I feel like you just don't want to rain on my parade, guy.
I don't. If I did, I would be mocking you the whole time, but I don't. Because I know we both love Troma so much. What?
Though that is true, I was expecting more hate from you. Admittedly, I was delaying this because I felt your hate. That being said, I think we can all agree that hating on everything everywhere all at once.
Yeah, that was a scum move.
A 1 is a scum move.
A 1 for everything all at once, guy. You gave it a worse rating than I did Toxie, which clearly is an inferior movie, even though I loved it. Which I didn't. Hated Toxie, in fact. But anyway, the point is...
You suck, guy!
It sucks, man. It's a bad movie
I
to
loved
me.
it, guy.
You did say you hated it, though.
Loved it.
Did you?
Yeah.
Sounded very convinced there, again.
Anyway,
movie sucked.
you stink.